Hi everyone, welcome again to my YouTube channel Fitness Free Computer Geek. Now today I am presenting you another episode on a book review section of this book, that is Rich Dad and Poor Dad. In the last episode we have seen about the first lesson of Rich Dad and Poor Dad, where Rich Dad start giving lesson about finance and how to become rich since Robert was 9-year-old. Now continuing this, we will now discuss about the second lesson that Rich Dad taught Robert. That is why there is necessity of financial education. In this second part, Robert began his story by mentioning that his friend Mike in 1990s take his father empire. At the same time, in year 1994, Robert at the age of 47 take retirement. But he told that retirement doesn't mean you didn't have to work. You can work, or if you cannot work, it's your choice. But if you make money, work for yourself, then retirement or non-retirement doesn't make any difference. So your assets should producing your money. You should make your asset in such a way that it provide you money after retirement also. And he told that assets is like a tree. Suppose you when the tree is small, you just water the tree, and after some time it doesn't need you anymore, and its root gets cemented in the soil, and it start to growing fruit without being watered. So giving by this example, Robert want to say that by accumulating assets, money producing assets, don't have to work for it, and money will produce money for yourself. Okay. So Mike choose to run the empire and Robert choose to retire. That's the dilemma. He is concerned that too many people are concentrated only on money, but it didn't. Most people ignored the basic wealth, that is education, and especially the financial education. People try to especially ignore this. They just skipping this step and they just want to earn money. They become money oriented. If people are prepared to be flexible and willingness to work and learn, they will be financially stable one day. That's what Robert wants to say here. Of course, intelligence solves the problem of money, but money without any financial education is no money at all. The author elaborates this thing by using, you might have seen the lottery ticket winner. They just get so much amount, $1 million lottery, but after some months or a year, they get bankrupt. Why? Because they don't have the financial education. They don't know how to keep the money to themselves. So it's only the matter of fact not only to earn money, but also to keep the money with you. Okay. So in a similar way, like some young athlete who earn their millions dollar in their 20s, and after 10 years you will find them staying in roadways. There are plenty of examples there. Why? Because they don't have the financial education to handle their money. So when most people, when they met Robert, they asked him how to get rich. Can I refer to your book to how to become rich? Then Robert just simply answered them, you just have to be financially literate and nothing else. It's the most basic step you must have to become rich, and to keep the money. Becoming rich is another thing, and keeping the money within yourself and being rich for a long time in another thing. Okay, both are dependent, but it's very difficult to. It is easy to become rich, but keep the money to yourself is the most difficult task. But it will become easier if you have the financial education, financial literacy with you. So most of the time, his educated dad stressed him to read more books, keep your knowledge up to the book, and his dad always told him to become financially literate. There are different things in reading books only and become financially literate. Is to keep book knowledge only and have financial knowledge. Both are different things, and both that teach him that. Both that have been different opinion about money, which Robert discussing since the very beginning of in this book. So for financial education, you might have to learn many subjects which will be not that interesting and confusing and boring to you. Like accounting, for take an example, accounting very essential if you want to become rich, and you have to learn accounting. But you might seem it's boring and long, but you have to learn it somewhat. This comes from the financial literacy. So his Rich Dad found a basic of strong financial foundation for Mike and himself for a very tender age, as you can get referred to his first lesson. When they were a kid, their Rich Dad didn't go into the jargons, technical terms, but rather he developed very simple things which he mentioned in this book about by using drawings. They wanted to learn, make the kids understand about the finance. Okay, so let me show you that diagram which Robert has described in his book. Look, Robert has his rich dad taught him about balance sheet, about income student balance sheet, as using only diagram. For a commerce student, it will be they are very technical terms used for this, but his rich dad taught him as using diagram only. You can see that income, expenses, and this is the balance sheet, assets and liability. And most poor people use the liability to pay for their expense. Oh, okay, I will get into it later. Okay, you might not be understanding it. So you can see that rich dad developed these things to to teach Robert and Mike about the money. Then he provides some rules to make money. Number one rule is you must understand the difference between assets and liabilities, and you must accumulate assets. Most people struggle financially because they do not know the difference between assets and liability. Most people consider their home as an asset, which I will come into later. So they why most people didn't understand this between assets and liability, because they are educated differently. Since their childhood, they are taught by professionals who only considered who didn't teach much about their financial literacy. So it is very difficult for them to unlearn everything and learn a new concept to distinguish between the assets and liability. So here this dad wanted to say here, you must understand the difference between assets and liability, or you will be even poor, and you will just whining about how why the rich get richer and why I am poor. I will get into it later. So simply speaking, Robert, these are only technical terms used by commerce student, but simply speaking, he defined assets and liability. Asset is something which produce money in your pocket, and liability is something that take your money out of pocket. Okay, hope you're getting it. Asset is something producing money, and liability is something getting your money out of your pocket. So this is very basic difference. Rich dad taught him when he was just a kid, when he was in early teenage. So then we will ask the question, why people struggle financially? Because they don't know in how to manage their money in terms of number or name. That's why they remain poor. I also told about this in early lessons, that now student in school, they were only taught about the basic things, which doesn't include any money oriented thing. Okay, so basically they leave the school without having any financial literacy, without having any financial skills. Millions of educated people pursue their profession successfully, but struggle financially in some part of their life. Why? Because they didn't have financial literacy. You must distinguish between the financial literacy and normal literacy. Okay, so financial literacy is all about money, handle money, and how to keep the money, how to accumulate assets also. So only education, only school teach about how to make money, how to work for money, but they didn't teach about how to manage the money, how to keep the money. It's never taught in school. Okay, so most is highly skilled professional didn't unable to control their cash flow. So what they start to do, they only find solution to work harder, because they only learn in school that you have to work hard for something, but no one had taught them about how to make the money work harder for you. This is the thing Robert want to say here. Okay, so don't just chase money, don't just work for money, let the money work harder for yourself. Don't always work hard. Okay, that's what Robert want to convey here. So what they struggle is that now when their earning increases, then their expenses to increase, then they again work hard to compensate their expenses. So that risk continues, which I have discussed in the. They, instead of trusting their inner genius, inner thinking, they just follow the crowd, think that what everybody else is doing, they should also do. Okay, they don't think about their own idea, most of the people. So this is because the fear of being different, which people will ask about question, people will criticize you. Because of that fear, people try to follow the crowd, but this will not solve your problem in a long run. Okay, understand this thing always. So he giving example again about his rich dad, how his dad only based on take his own decision and didn't listen to people's about especially the negative things, and that don't do it. He specifically do this thing which he think that required to be done to make him rich, make him more rich. And he always ignore the fact that what people say, what will happen. He didn't care about it. He just think about how to make money. So what's his rich dad want to convey about. So he and Mike learn many things sitting in a rich dad meeting, combiningly about what he learned in school and college, what they learn in school and colleges. They learn most of the things while sitting in a meeting with rich dad.